Good everyone, my name is Graphics. Today we're studying isometric. Like I said earlier in my last video that isometric is a three-dimensional view drawing, and all the angles in isometric are what? 30 degree. So we're having 90 and 30 degree isometric. So whenever you hear the word isometric, the first thing that should come to your mind is that what? You take your T-square and you should draw an horizontal and a vertical axis. And at an angle of what? 30 degree. It should be the first thing that comes to your mind. So this is the first thing that should come to your mind. 30 degree. The angles are rested on 30 degree. Now we should know very well that this aspect here is called the length. Then this is the width, and we have what's called the height, like I showed in my last video. Now we want to replicate this drawing. Right? Now if you look at this drawing, the entire length here is 30, is what? 60. While the entire height is what? 50. So my entire length is 30, is 60. I will measure 60. I'll measure 60 on my meter rule. So this is 60, starting from 1. I'll stop at 7. So this is my reference point here. Then the height is 50. If you look at it very well, the entire height is 50. That is it there. From here up here is the entire height, and that is what? 50. I'm going to measure my 50 from this point, starting from 1. So 1 to 6 is 50. And the entire width is 40. If you look at it very well, my entire width here, this is the width. From here to here is what? 40. I'm going to measure my 40. So I'm starting from 6, going backward. So this will be 10, this is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. I'll end at 2. That's the first step. And the next thing is I'm going to take those points up, and I'll take these points up, and this point here I will do the same at this point, just like I showed you in my earlier. Watch the part 1 of this video, you get to understand. At this point here I did what I did here, right? I did what I did here. So I'll place my set square and I'll draw a line at an angle of 30 degrees to the other point here, right? And I'll do here the same thing here too. I'll draw a line from this point to the other point here. Are we good? Then apart from that, I'll close it up. So where it meets here, I'll do the same thing. Just watch my last video and you get to understand all what I'm talking about here. So I'm bringing out the box. So this is what we've done. we brought out this box. The aim is that we are acting like a sculptor. Sculptor are those people that carve things out from a wood, a log of wood. So this is our box. I want to carve out our shape out of this box, right? So what we'll do here is this. Is that we're going to start drawing. Now if you look at this diagram very well here, you discover that from the top of 50 down to 50 is thickened. I'm going to thicken it. So I'll thicken this point from the top of 50 down here. I'll thicken it. That's the first thing I'll do. Now the next thing is, from here also, from this point, the back of this point here is 40, and I'm taking it to, which is from this point back to this point here, and I'm taking it. So I'm going to taking it. Right? Then if you look at it very well, from here I'm going to measure 10 millimeter out inward. So I measure 10 millimeter on this point. I measure my 10 millimeter. There's it 10. And I'm going to close it up. And also close the edge up too, like this. Now, if you're rolling that, the next thing is from here also to here is 10, which is from here to here. From this point is 10. So I'll just draw a faint line from this beginning downward, since I'm not really sure. So let me do that. So just draw a faint line from here downward. I'll draw a line like that. So in doing that, I know very well that this point here is taken. So watch the diagram very well. That is taken. Now, the actual dimension is not given from this point to this point, neither is it given from this point to this point. So what you do is, you know that the thickness of here to here is what? 24. So we are going to, so you get the half of 50, because we know from here to here is 50. So I'm going to get the half of 50, and the half of 50 is 25, right? So this is 10, 20, and this 25 here. That is the half of 50. And with the help of my set square, I'm going to adjust it and roll my line this way. So this is the half here, right? And I make sure that from here in between is 24, so I'm going to measure 12 here, 12 here. So that's what I'll do now. Take my meter rule, measure 12. So you measure 12 here. So if I start from 3, I get 12 here. Now place it here. Now mark up. Now mark down. So use my metal rule. Cover this point right here. Here too. So from here, I'm getting this part here. Now if you look at this diagram very well, you get to understand that from here to here is 12. Look at it very well. From here to here is 12, another 12, 24, another 12, 40, right? 24 plus 18 will give me 42, plus another 12 will give me 54, right? So if you move 54 from 60, you'll be having what? 6 left. So it means that at the end of this point here, that is not the measurement is not given. We're going to measure what? 6. So measure my 6 from 1. This point here is 6, right? And I'm going to close it up this way and close this one down too. Right? So I'm doing that. If you look at it very well, also, you discover that the thickness between here and here is what? 20. So see the center line I drew earlier. So from here to here is 20, from here to here is 20, and this point here is joined to this point here, which is this line, which is this point. So this point is joined to this point, but must be a distance of what? 20. So what I will do is I'll take my compass and I'm going to measure 20 from 1 to 3 is 20. I'll put at the center here and I'll mark 20 up, 20 down. And I'm going to move this point from here, that point. I'll move this point too from here to that point. Right? And then with the help of my T-square, I'll close it up. Sorry. I'll close it up. So I'll close it up. All good. So I'll move my instrument from here. Now you're going to join from here straight down here, which is from here straight down there. So since I know where I'm heading to, I'm going to thicken it, right? And also here, but I'm not really sure where I'm heading to. I'll use my faint line, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm also going to thicken from here, thicken it down. So take my rule, thicken from here downward. Now the next thing I'll do is also this point too, I'm going to thicken it too. Because I'm going to draw my line from here. a faint line, then I'll be able to move this guy to this spot. To this spot. So that is this point here. And this point is this point here. Let's through this line. Now what we'll do is I'll bring here down. If you check this direction on your question, I'll bring this point down. Diameter with faint line, since I'm not sure where I'm heading to. And I'm going to close it up. To stop here, right? So I will now join from this point to this other point here. Can you see that? And I'll close here too. Close here too. So that's the aspect. And if you recall, if you look at the diagram very well, you check this spot, you see a line going in. So I'll place my compass, my chest square this way, and I'm going to take it in. Right? So now if you look at, now if you check on this spot here, you see that you're having from here to be what? 12. Right? So from here to here is 12. And I'll measure another 12. I'll measure another 12 from that point. There's another 12 here. Right? Then I'll measure 18. The next division is 18, is 10, and this 18 here. Right? So we check very well. So we're having like 12, 12, and what? Let me zoom it so you see what I'm talking about. So I'm having 12, 12, 18. So I'll bring them down. Bring this point down to touch here. And bring this point down to touch here. Right? So where they touch, I'm going to extend this man here straight down to this point, and I'll extend this man here straight down to this point with my faint line. Right? So what I need to get here is the center of that line, so that I'll be able to know the distance between the length. So I'm getting my center point. This is 40. Half of 40 is 20, right? And I'll pull it down here. This one too is 20, right? I'll do the same thing here at this point here, because it's a slant line. I have to be very careful. So from here to here also is 20. So I'm going to join the two together. Faint line. So this is our center. Now if you look very well, the thickness of that guy is 25. If you look at it very well, from here to here is what? 25. So I'm going to measure 12.5 in each space. So measure 12.5. 12.5. So between 10 and this point here is 12.5. So I'll place it here. I'll mark 4. I'll mark down. So I'll use my still same thing too, because it's a slant line. I mark up and I mark down. So I'm going to join them together. So I'll join these 2 points together. And I mark these 2 points together. And I'll close it up too. And I'll close it up too. All good. So in doing that, I'm going to bring this part downward to show you the hole. Can you see that? Now the next phase here is that if you look at the front here, there's a circle. So the way I'll draw my circle here is that what I'm going to now, what you want to do is to draw a circular figure here, right? When I mean a circular figure, I mean this circular figure, like a pipe being protruded. Now if you look closely, you see something here. It's telling me that the boss, the diameter of this circle is what? 25, and the length at which it is being protruded out is 20. So the length from here to here is 20. What diameter of this circle is what? 25, right? So let's start. So what I will do is I'm going to get the center of this figure. I'm going to roll it this way. Then the other center is there also. I'm going to roll it this way. Where is the center? So I've gotten the two center, which is this here. And you see diameter is 25, so I need 12.5. And I know very well that this is 12.5. I'll measure 12.5 from 4 to this point here. This is my 12.5. So I'll place it at this point. I'll cut up, cut left, and all part of the line, right? And I'm going to form my box. So place it this way. Now draw my line. Place it this way and draw my line. Now come here too. I'll close it up also. One thing you need to understand is when you want to draw a circle in isometric, you need a perfect square that looks like a rhombus. So I've gotten this my 4 corner here. So what will I do? I'm going to extend it forward. I will extend it forward like this. Remember that your t-square is on your t-square is on the t-square, so don't forget that. So I'm moving it on the t-square, so I'll move it. Let me zoom it out so you see what I'm talking about. So it's moving on it. All good? So it's moving on it. So I'll move this one out too. And I'll move this out too, or the angle of it, because I'm being told that it is 20 millimeter outside. That is the length. This is 10, 20. Okay. And I'll close it up. And I'll bring this one down too. Close it up. Bring this down too. Close it up. And I'm going to close this down too. Now what do you notice? I have formed a box. You can see the box now. Let me show you. I have formed a box. So what will I do? I'm going to divide that box into equal parts. Now look at the center of this one here. I'll use my t-square and my c-square, and I will extend it to the other part here to get the center. I'll take this one too to get the center. All good. This one also to get this point. So I'll just join them together. So this vertical and this horizontal. So you notice it, I've divided it into 4. So I'll use the longest aspect of it, because this side look longer than here. I'm going to join these two together. Then I'll place it here. I'll join this to the horizontal, and I'll join this to the vertical. So when I do that, this is where this meets, and this is where this meets. So I'll now take my compass. I'm going to place it here. I'm going to extend it to the edge of this guy here. Can you see that? So I'm going to draw this. That's my first thing I'm doing. I'll come here to this point and take this edge, and I'm going to gauge it first before I draw. Can you see that? And I'll place it at this end here. Take it to this point here. If you look at it very well, then I'm going to join them together. Right? And I'm going to place it here also. I'll come here and close it up. That's the first one here. So after I've done that, what I'll do is I'll replicate what I did here inside too. If you see, I have another box inside. So I'm going to join this aspect to this aspect here. So instead of me wasting my time I'll just transfer my point. So place my t-square on my set square, on my t-square. Now move this center point I used to draw my arc. I'll move it to this point. I'll come here to do the same thing from this point to this point. I'll move it to the diagonal here. So I've done that. So I'm cutting up. So I'll now take my compass. I'll place it here at this point where they meet, which is here. I'll take it to this point and I'll draw my curve here. Right? And I'll place it at this point too. Take it to this point and I'll do the same thing. I will not move it, I'll just move it from here to touch here. Can you see that? And I'll come here too. I'll do the same thing. Get it to this point. And I'll just move this to touch here. So what I'm actually trying to do is I'm going to join in this point to this point. And this point to this point. Now we're still moving forward. We're moving, so I need to do the same thing indoor here. So that what I'll do here too. Even before that, let me close this up. From here, I'll draw my line to not cut through. Just touch here. You can see that? And I'll do the same thing here too. From here, don't touch here. So I need a circle inside, because if you check the question very well, there's another O inside here, and you see it's 12, diameter of 12, that is 6. So I'll do this. 6 is very small, so I'll just, so since it is 12, so I'll measure 12 for my meter, 6, half of 12, which is 6. I'll place it at the center here where they meet. I'm going to mark 6, 6, 6, and 6 on the vertical horizontal line. I'll make them form a box. So this is the first box, and this is the other box here, and this is this box, and the other box here. So if you look at it very well now, I have formed another box here. So the same thing will happen. I'll draw my arc. So I'll place it here. And I'll gauge it. It's small, so we just have to be very careful. Let me just move it up. So I'll just draw that. So that's what you'll be having. So this is what you do. Thank you very much for watching.